There's an amazing charitable event being held at the Pine Lakes International Country Club, otherwise known as the Granddaddy. We'll tell you all about it coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Pine Lakes International Country Club, the location for tomorrow night's American Cancer Society Cattle Barons Ball. And we're visiting with Paula Benik, the owner of the Foxy Lady Boutique. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
To help wrap up the week and to think the excitement is so hot right now.
It is. It is. Tomorrow night's night.
I know. I can't believe they let us in here today with so many things being set up today and tomorrow. The mechanical bull, the jail, just everything getting ready for a big fundraiser.
It's very exciting.
It is. It is. And, of course, a big exciting event was September 7th.
Yes, Greg. It was an awesome night. Very awesome night. We had the Celebrations Fashion Show to help raise money to go towards the Cattle Barons Ball.
Great. We want to talk more about that, but I sure want to ask, where are you from originally, Paula?
Originally, I'm from Ashland, Kentucky.
Okay. And how long have you been on the Strand?
I came here in 1971.
Wow.
Met my husband, who is a local here, and have been here ever since.
Golly, since 1971.
71.
That's 32 years. That's amazing. When did you open the Foxy Lady Boutique?
In 1972.
Is that right?
That's right.
It has been here on the Strand for 31 years.
That's right.
That is amazing. And what had you been doing prior to this venture?
Prior to Foxy Lady? Working at Mammy's Kitchen and working for the telephone company. So
you've gotten to know the area a little bit through seeing a heck of a lot of visitors, I guess, to the area coming into Mammy's Kitchen. And
well, I was only there for about a week. So
well,
it didn't last very long at Mammy's Kitchen.
That gave you the impetus to go ahead and get to Foxy Lady Boutique open. Where is Foxy Lady located? What type of apparel do you all carry?
We have 3 locations. One in Colonial Mall, one in Rainbow Harbor, and one down in Litchfield at the Litchfield Village Marketplace. We carry everything, we say, from fun to formal. So sportswear, evening wear, and clothing to wear to the Cattle Barons Ball. So.
Yes, absolutely. That's right. If viewers may not have locked down, could they even get in there today to pick up something before tomorrow night's event?
Oh, sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about having a business where you have 3 locations? Paula, how do you get to all of them?
Well, I have awesome employees, and mainly I just do the back end work. I'm the one that checks in the merchandise and pays the bills, and I have, my daughter is at one location,
right.
and I just have really awesome employees. So.
What's it like being a small business owner for 31 years?
I love it. Every day is exciting. I never get bored. I love the business, and it's just wonderful.
How exciting. Paula, last week, we focused on National Small Business Week, and we had folks in from SCORE, the folks who help small businesses get started. We had quite a few small business owners, and the excitement's so different in so many ways, but none of them have been around 31 years.
Oh, really? Don't be adding that up.
Yeah, golly, excuse me. I mean, that's a big deal. That's right. No, don't add that. Well, you're only at Mammy's Kitchen for a week, so we can't add too much. On September 7th, you sponsored a Celebrations Kickoff fashion show to highlight the Cattle Barons Ball. Can you share with the viewers a little bit about how you came upon the idea of a fashion show to benefit the American Cancer Society?
Yes, Greg. My daughter and I were at the Atlanta Apparel Mart, and they always have fashion shows. And this particular, it was in just this past January, they were having a fashion show, and it was to raise funds for the American Cancer Society. And they had a big spread of a buffet, and they were selling the champagne glasses with the diamonds, and So we, took our seats and began to watch the show. And as it unfolded, we realized that these models that were on the runway were all cancer survivors. Wow. And as each one modeled, the commentator, Jan Bilthouse, told a little bit about their stories. And my daughter and I sat there, and we were just amazed. We laughed, and we cried, and we applauded, and as each model would come out, the whole family would stand up and applaud them, and it was just very emotional time. And at the end of the show, Haley and I were just drained, but it was good. It was a good kind of a feeling. And we sat there and we just said, wow, if I got cancer tomorrow, after seeing these beautiful ladies out on the runway who have gone through so much, and they're still out here, modeling, in a fashion show, it just really would give us so much hope that if we got cancer tomorrow, we wouldn't go home and crawl in bed and just stay there, that we could fight it just like these ladies. So we sat there and we said, the Lord has blessed us with a business and an opportunity that we can go and do the same thing in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. So it really just put a seed in our hearts to come back here and do the same thing. So that was what gave us the original idea.
That is wonderful. So as soon as you got back, or even there, you knew you were inspired to go ahead and get this set up here. We were. How exciting. And did you contact the American Cancer Society, let them know about that event? And
well, we got back home, and I didn't know where to start. So I mentioned it to a few of my friends that have had cancer, just to kind of ask them if they knew where I should go or who I should talk to. And I really didn't really find out anything. And then one day we were doing a prom fashion show, and Kay Harris was there. Her daughter was in the show. And she said, Paula, if you ever want to do a fashion show at the Palace, I would love to talk to you about it. And I went, oh my gosh. I said, yes, I do want to do a fashion show, but not a prom show. I want to do an American Cancer Society show. And then within the next week, P.G. Winstead came into the store to have me sign some papers for insurance. And he was talking about, we're going to do this Cattle Barons Ball, and it's going to be at the end of September. And he's talking about his wife. And I said, now, wait a minute. Your wife has something to do with the American Cancer Society? He goes, oh, yes, she's the head of the whole thing. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I need to have lunch with her. So Kay and Michelle and I got together and sat down, and it just rolled from there. It was just awesome.
How exciting that is.
It is.
How the Lord works, or how something works to impact.
It's the Lord. It was His plan from the beginning. So.
And to think that idea, and then not knowing how you would do it exactly, what the next steps were to bump into Kay and to pump into PG is just wonderful. And by the time you spoke with Michelle Winstead to propose the idea for the show, you had the program and the venue. How did you organize it from there? Well,
Michelle helped. She sent a letter out talking about it and asking anyone if they would like to participate, like to model, and she got a really good response. And then at the same time, I had Robin Howe to help me. A lot of people, I just trying to get the word out. If you know somebody that would like to model, would like to participate. And at first we had a lot of people, they were confused. They were like, well, I don't want to get in front of the microphone and say anything. And I was like, no, you don't have to say anything. The commentator's going to say it. So after that, my daughter contacted Jan Bilthouse, who was the commentator at the Atlanta show, and asked her if she would come up and commentate our show. And she said, she would be there. So that really just got it rolling. And
that is wonderful, Paula. You also held an auction that night. Can you share real quick both a silent and live auction? How did you solicit donations for the auction?
Well, at first I didn't think I wanted to bother with doing that, but I just on a whim wrote up a letter and faxed it to all my vendors and said, would you like to donate something for the American Cancer Society? And the stuff just started piling in. I mean, we were getting formal gowns and beaded tops and pocketbooks and all kinds of things. So at that point, I had to kind of figure out, I said, well, we'll have, we'll set up a silent auction. And then I got this brainstorm about, my commentator said, I'm an auctioneer, so you should take advantage of my talents. Wow. So at the last minute, I got this brainstorm to send Barbara Graham out on stage in a dress and see if we could live auction it. Well, when Jan got there, she said, oh my gosh, she said, I don't know about that. I've never auctioned clothing before. And I was like, you haven't? I just thought it would all be the same. And she goes, well, I'll give it a try. And the first dress went out, and it went for $400, and I was in the back just jumping up and down. I was going, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it went over really well, and next year we'll be doing more of that.
Jan did a good job.
She did an excellent job.
She'll be back on for next year.
She will be.
How exciting. How successful was the event, and do you hope to repeat it next year?
I do hope to repeat it next year. I've gotten a lot of support. The models are ready to go. They're all, we want to do it again next year, and Jan says she'll come back, and so it looks like something that will happen again next year.
How exciting, Paula. And obviously having your daughter involved from the get-go, to know, has she been able to talk to you afterwards? Is she really excited about it? Oh,
yes. Haley, it was, like I said, the Lord put it on our hearts to do this, and she's my right hand. I couldn't do it without her.
That's wonderful. We've got about 2 minutes. How did you feel about presenting the show when it was over? You said you've gotten a lot of calls. Folks encouraged you to do it again. What's that like, going through something you heard about in January or saw, felt? You said you were drained really at the end of that, because I'm sure it's emotional to see all that.
I tell you, these ladies, it was my blessing. I was so blessed. The 2 weeks that we spent fitting the ladies and getting to know them and working with them, and at the end, little Lena Blankenship, she was my 85-year-old model, sent me a card, and she said how much she appreciated us doing the show, and that she felt like we had all become one family, and that is what it was like. It was just the bonding of everyone together to make it happen.
That's wonderful. You'll be here tomorrow night?
I will be, with my boots on.
Oh, yeah. Paula, can you share real quick with the viewers what the owner of the Foxy Lady will be wearing? Or is it a surprise? Folks need to come out and see it. You said boots.
I have some black and white zebra boots, and the outfit will come together from there.
Oh, my God. Wow. Well, how exciting. Lastly, Paula, what do you like best about what you're doing?
What I like best about what I'm doing, my business, I guess, just enables me to do fashion shows that can give back to the community. And we work with teenagers, and we work with older ladies, and it's just awesome just being able to be a part
I love
of
it.
that.
You heard her say it. Working with folks of all ages, the key words are giving back to the community. Giving back to the community. And Paula Benik did that on September 7th. She'll continue to do that, and you'll see her giving back if you're here tomorrow night checking out that outfit. Paula, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to Hilda Merritt Carter coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome back to Carolina People. This morning we're at Pine Lakes International Country Club. We're focused on the American Cancer Society's Cattle Barons Ball, which will be held here tomorrow night at 7. And we're visiting with Hilda Merritt Carter, a society columnist with Coast and Alternatives news magazines. Good morning, Hilda.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me.
And to think, a little more than 2 weeks ago, we were all at the Hampton Inn, Broadway at the beach, celebrating your big, big birthday bash. It was amazing, Hilda.
I know it, the 70th.
Oh, I didn't want to say that. That's
well,
right.
I do. I've worked hard for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That was so exciting, Hilda, to see 200 plus of your friends and family, and there were so many other folks who couldn't be there that night.
Oh, yeah, and I'm still getting presents.
I know. You've got, yeah, it's coming. Hilda, as a cancer survivor, why do you think it's important to support the efforts of the American Cancer Society?
Well, it's been over 24 years since I had cancer, and now today, with having all these balls and whatever we do to raise money, it has brought us forward. And we know more about cancer now than we did back then, because back then there was no support groups. The only thing I had was a book by Dr. Norman Vincent Peale that helped me through it. And people just need to realize we're so lucky now when we have cancer that it's so much different than it was back then.
Now, Hilda, you were diagnosed 24 years ago with cancer?
Yes.
My Lord.
Yes. On the 17th of September, 24 years ago.
And it is treated on when you think about that commitment, it's been treated over that long, or how has it held a position in your life over the last 24 years?
Well, of course I had a rough time because of all the treatments, and of course losing your hair was the worst. I tell everybody that I had a head that was shaped like a coconut. And I tried to put bandanas on, and I finally had to get a wig. It was so ugly. But that wasn't the worst. It was the sickness, with chemo, and it was just, and not having anybody else that you know at the time that had cancer, that you could talk and say, hey, how were you? What did you do? I had nobody to do that.
Is that what you remember as the most difficult part of the ordeal, because there was no one to really communicate with, to bond with?
Yes, that's the worst part of it. That's why today, when I find out somebody has cancer, I'm there for them, 100%, because I didn't have that. And a lot of people are not motivated like I am. I'm a self-motivator. So I talk to myself all the time, to get through it.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people are very timid and they're scared. And, of course, I was scared. But it just means so much to talk to somebody that has had cancer and been through it and lived.
Hilda, earlier in the week, Michelle Winston was on Tuesday, who's the community income manager for the American Cancer Society. She pointed out a phone number, 800-ACS-2345, 24 hours a day, where someone's there, a counselor's online, be able to talk through some of those issues. 24 years ago, you didn't have a phone number like that.
No,
you didn't have other folks you could talk to.
And it's like I say today, it's still a horrible disease, but it has come so far, and the reason is because of people giving money for research. And I just finished a golf tournament in Charlotte a couple of weeks ago for bone cancer. People that, and this really good friend of mine, she died at 29. And because she had she was in with all the people at the medical center. And they helped each other, but she died because we don't know what causes
That's Shelley Glassbell Sheelard, the Ewing Sarcoma Fund, of course, which her mom and sister and others were down with us at the Fox 43 studio. Hilda, when you think about, obviously, the American Cancer Society has organized so many support groups for different kinds of cancers. How does a support group help a patient?
Well, it's like an unknown thing. Somebody says, you got cancer. All of a sudden, it's an ugly word. You don't know what to do. You're just sort of sitting there stunned. But like I say, the support group comes together, and they take those fears, and they say, listen, I'm alive. I had it, 6 months ago or a year ago. And, of course, they say it's a 5-year period. If it does not reoccur, then it's cured. And I had to wait that 5 years. And with nobody but me and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale to help me. And so today, we're so lucky. And I'm so glad that people care about other people.
The exciting thing, of course, that support group can be so tight to help get you through it, but it also helps remind you, as both Dr. Bass talked about on Wednesday and Rosario talked about yesterday, it reminds you of that impact of needing to get out and remind folks of early detection. Get out. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. Get out and get checked regularly.
Exactly, because I am a miracle, absolutely, because I did not even feel anything. You know, I was going on with my life like, you know, everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, they had a free pap smear down at the health department. And so my girlfriend called me, said, we're coming to pick you up. I said, well, I can't go today. I got too much to do. And so they came, and they made me go. Thank God, because it saved my life. And so we went that day, and then we went to have lunch, and then went shopping, you know, like women do. And I just felt great. And the next morning, I got the call to come down to the health department. And I did, and that's when they told me.
This was 24 years ago, Hilda.
Yes.
That is amazing.
It is amazing that I'm alive, because it's the worst thing I've ever endured.
And speaking of that, Hilda, what lessons have you learned from your experience, both over the 24 years ago and over the last 24 years ago, that you would want to share with others?
Please go and get a checkup. I don't care how good you're feeling. Make it something that you do at least 3 times a year, and sometimes even more, because it can grow at fast pace. And if they can get it in time, they can save your life.
And what are some of these checkups like? I mean, it's scary for folks to go, A, because you're fearful maybe there's something there, but B, because, you know, just getting checked out. It's strange for some people, so for some viewers possibly. What is it okay?
Well, the thing, too, about cancer, it doesn't give you any warning, see? But if you go to a doctor for a checkup, and especially with women, they have a pap smear, they have, you know, the breasts, you know, and everything is looked after. And with men, too, because I know a lot of my friends right here at the beach that are men, and they have had cancer, prostate cancer, which is horrible, and but they came through it. But if they'd have had it 24 years ago, they'd have never made it. So you see the difference in what we are today?
Right.
Research, that's the word. And we got to raise money for it.
In the American Cancer Society, is really helping both patients and their families get through the process.
Thank God for them, is all I can say.
There's so many forms of cancer. You know, we talked yesterday about colon cancer. You're talking about bone cancer, breast cancer. And it's amazing to think the impact that it has in so many aspects of your life.
We know less about bone cancer than we do any, because there's not been that much research, and that's why I'm involved in it now, to help to raise money for that research. But it's for all cancer. You know, if we can find some way that we can find out what causes it, then we can, you know, prepare for it. But it's a dreaded disease.
Oh, yes. Hilda, we got about 3 minutes. You know, we spoke earlier with Paula about the fashion show that was held September 7th at the Palace. Were you there, and what did you think about the program?
Oh, yes. I was right down to the ramp with the camera, like always. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
Paula did a wonderful job, and her daughter, Haley. There's just no words to compare what this child can do.
Wow, really?
But it was so wonderful to see the cancer patients up there, and nobody knows how hard that is, especially when you've lost your breast, you know, and other things that is showable, and of course with hair that you've lost and got to keep it short. But these are brave people to do this. And it shows you that you can succumb cancer if you work at it. And of course research, like I say, going to your doctor, getting your checkups, and helping other people that have cancer.
Hilda, obviously it's tomorrow night. We're so
Yes.
close. The Cattle Barons ball's upon us. I mean,
yes.
folks can still call, though. They can call this
yeah.
morning, that 843-213-0333 number. But there's the
Exactly.
excitement. Also, what's so exciting for you for tomorrow night? And how about the entertainment tomorrow night?
Well, for one thing, I'm going to be in a cowgirl outfit.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find some guns.
Ooh.
But Billy Scott and the Prophets will be here.
Yeah.
And, of course, Charles, what is Charles' last name?
Charles Floyd.
Charlie Floyd.
Sure.
I know it. It's like I know my own. And also, I have a friend that lives in Florida, and he sings exactly like Frank Sinatra. In fact, he fooled me. And if you close your eyes, you think it is Frankie. And, of course, I knew Frankie. I did an interview with him in Wilmington. So he is just wonderful, and he's going to be there to sing to all the women.
Right.
He doesn't look like Frank Sinatra, but he sure sounds like him. And he'll be selling his CDs.
And Hilda, you think this theme, denim to diamonds, the Cattle Barons balls, appealing to potential gala visitors?
Yeah, especially men. You know, men don't like to get dressed up in
come
the
on.
tuxedos. But women, you know, it doesn't matter to them. They love fancy foo-foo things. But I think that's the thing that's going to really put it over, is that you can dress in jeans, plaid shirts, and we're just going to have a ball.
Guys like seeing ladies get dressed up. That's the thrill, Hilda.
But this is something it's different than the rest of the balls, you know, that you have to have a tuxedo and a dress and this and that. Now you can come cowboy style and cowgirl style. So I'll be dressed.
She found out 24 years ago that cancer never sleeps. And she's seeing that every day. She's still looking for guns for tomorrow night's event. We're hoping she'll find them. Hilda Merritt Carter, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for doing this for the cancer.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People coming up next. We want to thank Paula Benik of Foxy Lady and Hilda Merritt Carter, a committee member for tomorrow night's Cattle Barons Ball, for working so hard to fight cancer and making today's Carolina People so special.